From the Hindu Kush to the Rockies, a journey from Kabul to Colorado in community-led transformation, a memoir of resilience, advocacy, and transformation by Homayun Milad. Episode 24, Bridging Tradition and Modernization Through Governance. Perhaps the most profound impact of CDCs and DDAs has been their ability to modernize Afghanistan's cultural landscape without disrupting its foundational values. Historically, Afghan governance was often perceived as hierarchical, rooted in patriarchal and elder-dominated decision-making. While these structures provided continuity, they limited the scope of participatory leadership, particularly among women, youth, and emerging community leaders. Through institutional frameworks like CDCs and DDAs, Afghanistan has shifted from exclusive governance models to participatory democracy, ensuring that modernization does not come at the cost of cultural erosion. Instead, these governance structures have strengthened traditional leadership models by integrating accountability, strategic planning, and formal representation. Community development councils and district development assemblies, advancing diversity, equity, inclusion, and access in Afghanistan. Afghanistan's evolving governance structures, particularly community development councils, CDCs, and district development assemblies, DDAs, have played a pivotal role in transforming local and cultural dynamics through the lens of diversity, equity, inclusion, and access, DEIA. Historically, Afghan decision-making has been shaped by hierarchical structures and traditional norms that often limited participation to a select group of elders, tribal leaders, and influential figures. However, the institutionalization of CDCs and DDAs has challenged these patterns, offering a more inclusive and equitable framework for community-led development. Diversity, bringing multiple voices into decision-making. For centuries, Afghan governance relied on homogeneous leadership, where tribal and familial connections dictated authority. The modernization of local governance through CDCs and DDAs has diversified participation, allowing representation across ethnic, gender, generational, and socio-economic lines. Ethnic inclusion. Afghanistan's ethnic diversity, from Pashtun, Tajik, Hazara, Uzbek, and numerous smaller communities, previously led to governance disparities where dominant groups held disproportionate influence. DDAs have facilitated inter-community collaboration, ensuring local governance reflects the mosaic of Afghan society rather than a singular dominant group. Gender representation. Traditionally, women had limited formal participation in governance beyond familial roles. However, CDCs have actively integrated women's leadership, granting them structured roles in decision-making, budget allocation, and community planning. This shift empowers women beyond symbolic representation, embedding their voices in tangible governance outcomes. Generational inclusion. Afghan governance has long favored elder-led decision-making, but CDCs have introduced youth advisory committees, recognizing that young Afghans bring innovative ideas and long-term vision for modernization. By diversifying governance participation, CDCs and DDAs have reshaped Afghan society, proving that effective leadership is strongest when multiple perspectives contribute to community development. Equity, addressing systemic barriers to participation. Equity in governance requires ensuring that all communities, especially historically marginalized groups, have fair access to resources, leadership opportunities, and development programs. CDCs and DDAs have shifted Afghanistan's local governance from an elite-driven system to one that prioritizes equitable distribution of opportunities. Fair resource allocation. Previously, resource distribution was highly informal, favoring powerful families and influential tribes. CDCs now allocate community funds based on structured planning, ensuring that rural, remote, and disadvantaged communities receive development investments on par with more connected regions. Equitable leadership roles. DDAs have redefined leadership structures, ensuring gender-balanced councils and locally elected representatives oversee development projects rather than relying on traditional appointment-based leadership. Economic equity. Through microfinance and business capacity building, CDCs help economically disadvantaged groups, especially women, youth, and minority entrepreneurs, access development funds that were previously concentrated within elite networks. Equity is central to ensuring that governance does not reinforce existing disparities, but instead systematically corrects them, creating a future where development is accessible to all, rather than privileged communities alone. Inclusion. Strengthening participatory governance. Inclusion goes beyond representation. It ensures that all voices actively shape governance decisions, rather than serving as token participants. One of the most groundbreaking aspects of CDC and DDA governance models is their focus on participatory planning, meaning every community member has a structured role in shaping local policies and programs. Inclusive decision-making processes. CDCs facilitate public forums where community members, not just appointed leaders, have direct input on development priorities. Unlike previous governance models where power was concentrated in a few hands, CDCs and DDAs encourage open participation across all demographics, recognizing informal leadership. In rural Afghanistan, women, youth, and minority groups have traditionally influenced governance through informal networks, such as religious leaders, educators, and small business owners. DDAs have helped formalize these leadership roles, ensuring that informal influence is recognized in structured governance processes. Accessibility to civic engagement. CDCs and DDAs have lowered barriers to engagement, ensuring that even illiterate or economically disadvantaged community members can participate through oral consultation processes, storytelling-driven policy discussions, and simplified legal frameworks. True inclusion ensures that every Afghan, regardless of status or background, has the ability to contribute to governance, reinforcing collective agency rather than top-down decision-making. Access. Removing structural barriers to participation and development. Access in governance is about removing systemic obstacles that prevent marginalized communities from benefiting from development efforts. CDCs and DDAs have transformed Afghanistan's local governance by ensuring widespread access to decision-making channels, funding, and public services. Geographic accessibility. Afghanistan's mountainous and rural regions historically lack direct governance representation, with decision-making often concentrated in provincial capitals. DDAs have ensured that even the most remote villages receive structured governance participation, expanding development access beyond urban centers. Educational access for governance participation. Previously, Afghan governance structures favored individuals with formal education, limiting participation among rural and lower-income populations. CDCs have incorporated knowledge-sharing mechanisms, oral governance discussions, and peer-led training, ensuring that governance does not exclude those lacking formal literacy. Accessible economic development. Small business owners, farmers, and informal workers historically had little access to development funding due to bureaucratic barriers. CDCs now ensure that development grants, agricultural investments, and infrastructure projects are structured to support small-scale economic participation rather than solely benefiting large enterprises. By eliminating barriers to participation, CDCs and DDAs democratize governance, ensuring that leadership, resources, and development are accessible to all communities, regardless of geography, gender, ethnicity, or socioeconomic status. A new era of inclusive governance in Afghanistan. The establishment of CDCs and DDAs has not only modernized Afghanistan's local governance, it has redefined cultural dynamics by ensuring that governance reflects the diversity, equity, inclusion, and access needs of its people. Afghanistan's transformation is not about dismantling traditional governance structures, but about ensuring that they serve all communities equitably. By embedding participatory democracy, inclusive leadership, and accessible development models into Afghanistan's local governance, these frameworks offer a vision of progress that does not erase tradition, but strengthens it in ways that serve every Afghan. We'll continue this story in the next episode, so stay tuned.